I do these things. Today, I'm going to review Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 for the Wii! It's pretty much like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 for the Wii! Only with a couple of minor changes. You may notice the graphics suck. Let me rephrase. They've added a few, and I do mean few, more polygons to the character models this time around, but they decided that all of the characters' colors need to be muted and dull, and for some reason that apparently makes a grittier and harsher, more adult-looking world, but it's really hard to believe adult-looking worlds with people like Miss Marvel, Jean Grey, and the Hulk running around, so making everything look like it's being viewed through a shit filter, and that doesn't make the game better. Other changes they made. Oh, wonderful improvement here. You no longer have to jerk the Wiimote in a direction to use specific powers. That was lame. That was really terrible. And because it was pretty much a launch game that sort of set the tone for third parties deciding they had to force in motion controls where they had no business. The new one, none of that. You use the plus pad up at the top of your Wiimote here, and you just down, left, right, or up. It might seem like a pain at first, but it's really not that hard to just go from here to up here in certain situations. It does use the nunchuck for control, for moving, jumping, targeting. You have your light, your strong hits, blocking, all that jazz. One of the things I did like was that Jean Grey's mental power is now unlimited. Her ability to pick up and grab people and fling them around. That was a definite improvement. The game itself seems a lot shorter than the first one, which was kind of odd. There's no alternative costumes, which is just a huge jip, especially considering how poor the graphics are. I just can't believe that they had no space left on the disc for alternative costumes. That makes no sense at all. This wasn't breaking the bank in terms of megabytes used. The other new thing that they did, whoa, hello kitty. The other new thing that they did was they added fusion moves, which are actually pretty cool. You just take the nunchuck and you jerk it down really quick once while holding the shield button, and you activate a fusion. Then you point at the screen, and you click on one of your teammates, and you combine powers to do a really big attack. That's actually really cool. That was the one really cool thing they did as an upgrade. I can't really consider removing a crappy thing from the last game as introducing something cool and new as much as fixing a terrible idea they never should have done in the first place. So two really awesome things. No more motion controls to do powers and fusion moves. Both really awesome. Unfortunately, in the negative category, there's the fact that even with more polygons, it's still a ridiculously low polygon game. And since everything's veiled through the shit filter, it looks like ass. I mean, the game is just terrible. The plot ruins one of the best big stories in comic books that have come around in a really long time. And that's saying something. It tries, or at least it claims to be based on the Civil War story arc from Marvel that happened a couple years back. That was an awesome story. It was my favorite thing that Marvel has done in a really long time. Essentially, the government said, hey, superheroes are too dangerous. And they have a good reason. A couple of young superheroes who are on who have their own reality TV show accidentally blow up a city. Well, or at least part of a town. It kills several hundred people and sort of sets a precedent that really we should probably regulate what these super powerful individuals are doing. Well, not everybody likes that so much, the whole government getting involved, taking away your secret identity, telling you what to do kind of thing. So the superhero community splits, and half of them say, no, I'm going to keep superheroing, but I'm keeping my secret identity and I'm not registering with the government. The other half sides with the government and says, hey, a paycheck and training? I'm down! It splits mostly along Captain America and Iron Man's sides. Iron Man, of course, being the big wealthy man deciding that government intervention in our lives is beautiful. Captain America saying government intervention in our private lives is bad. A lot of confusion there. I've heard a lot of people argue about the conservative liberal side on this story, and that's a much harder issue to stab at. I'm not going to get into all that right now. But nonetheless, great, awesome story in the comics, And then in the video game, it boils down to nothing. They have the basic framework, and then less than halfway through the story, they just go, oh no, there's bad guys. Let's stop fighting each other and fight the bad guys. And then the bad guy in the end, it's not some big, awesome, badass bad guy. It's Phineas, the Tinkerer. The Tinkerer. You know, he's like Lex Luthor's disgruntled cousin who doesn't have any ballsack. I mean, gosh. Oh. Nonetheless, it's still fun to play your favorite Marvel characters and a lot of other people. They really nerfed Miss Marvel, but one of the problems with this type of game is you can't really have people on the scale of the Hulk and Daredevil, you know, running around without going, oh, why would I ever use him and just use this one? So they have to nerf a lot of the guys. Nonetheless, still pretty fun, pretty decent game. Not a buyer unless you can get it for 20 bucks or less. I gotta say, don't pay any more than that for this game. Not a game for comic book fans. Not a game for like hardcore comic book fans, actually. Because of the nerfing of the characters, because of the ridiculous nature of the plot, and I mean ridiculous by comic book standards, and because of how much it ruins the Civil War story, hardcore comic book fans will actually get angry at this game. Casual comic book fans will still love it because you get to play a lot of your favorite characters, and the control doesn't suck like the first one did. Rent it. You can beat it in a week, no problem. If you've got the money and want to throw $10 to $20 at a game, it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but it's certainly not great, and I would barely call it even good. Enjoyable, though. It wasn't horrendous to play. This took way longer than anticipated because I went off on the comic book story. So I'm done.